Welcome to the Peak Endurance Podcast. My name is Isabel Ross and I'm the coach at Peak Endurance Coaching. Episode 95, we're nearly at 100, is an interview with Caroline Bertrand. This is the second time Caroline has been on the podcast. She was last on in early 2020 when she won the 2 Bays 56 kilometre female event. This time we caught up to talk about her second place in the 2021 edition of the race. But our chat actually turned into so much more than that. We discussed what it takes to get through difficult times and how emotionally difficult times adversely affect our running. Also, how important it is to take this into consideration and be kind to ourselves. I truly hope you find this interview interesting and of value. Thank you so much once again to everyone who supports the podcast. As always, I really appreciate the people who have taken the time, and I know it's a hassle, to get onto Apple Podcasts to rate, review and subscribe. Little Minnie Vista gave 5 stars and says, I love Isabel's podcast. So much great information and advice for running and training. And I love hearing the stories she tells about events. She's an inspirational runner and makes me want to push my own boundaries. Thank you so much for that review. And if you enjoy this episode, please do go on over and rate, review and subscribe. Are injuries or niggles ruining your enjoyment of running and hindering your performance? Get on top of these by seeing the specialists at Health and High Performance, utilising the latest in technology and with a wealth of experience. The team at Health and High Performance can assist you with all of your running injury and performance needs. There's the dog. So to get back to enjoying your running and achieving the results you know you are capable of, head to healthhp.com.au/run or find them on Instagram, Health High Performance. Health and High Performance are located in Montalbert in Melbourne. But if you're not in Melbourne, they are available for telehealth appointments, not only Australia-wide, but also around the world. Contact them on their website to find out more and organise an appointment. Wild Earth Australia are the online store to help you make the most of the outdoors with top quality gear at great prices. Peak Endurance podcast listeners can use the discount code Peak Endurance, which is all caps, to get 10% off at checkout. Head on over to wildearth.com.au to get everything you need for your next big adventure or small adventure, doesn't matter. As racing comes back with a vengeance, I am getting busier and busier. I now have only a couple of athlete spots left. So if you are interested in a structured, individualised training program, email me, isabel@peakendurancecoaching.com.au to get started. I really hope you enjoy this interview with Caroline. Hi, Caroline, and welcome back to the Peak Endurance Podcast.
Hi, Izzy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So it's I thought I'd get you back on the podcast because it's been just over a year since you were last on the podcast, and at that time you just won the 56k event at 2 Bays. In between then and now has been, of course, the year that was 2020 that we've all grown to love and adore. But you recently came second at 2 Bays, which is also a fantastic accomplishment, especially to stay competitive for such a long time and after such a difficult year. I thought we could talk about how you coped during that difficult year and stayed on top of your training when a lot of people were not motivated to train. All right, so can you basically talk to us and tell us how you structured your training during COVID and mainly how you stayed motivated?
Okay. Yeah. So when the first ISO came about, we set up a gym in the garage like everyone else.
Yep.
and our gym was really good. They did this online program for us. They gave us a reduced rate, but they stayed massively involved with us. So that was definitely something that made it easy for us to stay motivated. I worked out in my garage. I still did my free fall sessions, and we shared them online with other people from the gym. So it felt like we're part of a community. And well, running didn't really change for us. I mean, second time around, we got those restrictions with distance from home and things like that. But I needed my exercise. It was mental health,
Yeah.
massive. Just you need to get out and you need to get out of a routine. And well, I guess exercise is routine as well. But just take a deep breath and forget about all the other problems and get out. Yeah.
Yeah. So what races had you had planned for the year?
I had well, I still did Razorback
Oh yeah, that's
um
right. Yeah.
in March. And then that was it. I didn't I was thinking maybe Wilson's Prom, and we were talking about Surf Coast
Yeah, that's
Century.
right. Yeah.
And look, things unraveled, and that just fell so far back on the back burner. I still considered doing it, but then as the year rolled on, it was just not going to happen. So I had a goal of doing a half marathon sub 90 minutes. So
Yeah.
I also did that. I think it was in May or June. We just did that around Albert Park, a few of us. And I got that time. I got 129 something. So that I was wrapped with
Awesome.
that. So yeah, smaller goals to work with. Wonderland, I signed up for the 60K. Obviously that got cancelled by Rowan, so that was not going to happen. Yeah, so that was it really. Yeah, that Wonderland, I held up for the 60Ks and then go into Surf Coast Century and get that 100 done. But nope.
So do you think you'll go for Surf Coast this year?
Nah, no way.
Oh, why not?
Uh, just I can't handle being in my head for that long, to be honest. Just that's what did it for me at 2 bays this year, and I've realized that I can't do it. The mental side of trail running at the moment is really difficult for me.
Yeah. So is that in general or because of life difficulties at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Life difficulties, personal issues. Separated from my husband last year, and I mean, you're familiar with all the process that you have to go through, and yeah, running short distances, it's okay, but as you know, once you start tapping into that long distance stuff, you have to be mentally strong. So, and that's what happened at 2 bays. I mean, physically, I was in the best shape I've been in years. But mentally, I was really struggling, and you can't have one without the other on that long stuff. So, I think 2 bays made me realize where I was at in terms of mentally. And I don't need to torture myself and try and prove that I can run 100Ks just for the sake of it. So
and you've got plenty of time to do that. So, look, I mean, as you alluded to, I went through a divorce and all that sort of stuff. So I know what it's like. And when I was in Canada, I tried to do 100-mile 3 weeks after my mum's funeral. That went spectacularly, so I DNF'd there, so there's no point. Like you said, you've got to be 100% mentally on the game to be able to really do these long distances. So obviously, like you said, you and your husband split up, but so that was during COVID, which is even more difficult because you didn't have a support network around you. Is that what you find hard too?
I don't have a support network, in terms of family base. My family's overseas anyway, so it's been really hard last year going through that. I mean, I have amazing friends that are.
That's also what I was getting at, because family, you might have been able to see a little bit if they were in your zone, but you certainly weren't really able to even see friends for a lot of the time. So.
Yeah, we had I had Simon Neal in my bubble. He lived just literally within a 5K bubble, so we became each other's training partner with it for the long runs, the 1 hour long runs. Look, my friends were supportive, but it was really tough. Just it was over the phone a lot and things like that. So second round isolation is when I moved out in August. And then my company, gave us the option of working from home. So I put my hand up to be one of us because I was mostly email based and I needed the time to kind of settle into the new place and the little one as well, just kind of get back into some sort of routine, reset up a gym in another garage. priorities going.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah,
So
that was-
obviously now you've also got to factor into your training care of your son, because you don't have someone there who can look after him. So what do you do? And like you said, you don't have your parents here. That must be really tough.
Yeah, look, it's been I've actually found it really interesting for me personally. I found that when I was with my husband with my training, he was extremely supportive of my training, and I could whenever I felt like it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But with that, and this is purely my my personal experience, I'm not talking for anyone else. I found that my time with my son was sporadic, because you have to factor in I work full time, and then things that you have to do around to make a household keep going, like the groceries and stuff like that. So for me, like the quality time with my son was sporadic. It was, yeah, we have time to do this now, and I'll take you to the park, and we spent time together. But we did we decided to do 50-50 custody. Husband's an amazing dad, and there's no issues on that front. And because he's so young, Gabs is only 4, we decided to do 2 days on, 2 days off, and nice. Then every weekend. So that does work with training, because it means
hang on a second, you've just dropped out there. Can you say, you said it does work in with the training, you've just frozen.
A few days here and there that you can do.
Do you want to just go over that again? You said, you have the 2 days on and 2 days off. How does that work in with your training?
And then every second weekend off. So it means every second weekend I don't have my son able to really put in quite heavy training, because I have nothing else to do Saturday, Sunday but to train. But it also means for me that I get quality time with my son. And so every second weekend, there's nothing else that comes in between us. And I've really enjoyed that. So you've got to see the positive in every situation. And the separation and the joint custody for me has meant that my time with my son is better quality, and I'm dedicated to the time I spend with him, and I don't worry about the cleaning or anything like that, because I can do that on the days I don't have him. So silver lining, right?
Yeah, and that's it. And you got to look for the positives, don't you? So and I'm sure he loves that quality time. And like you said, I mean, I'm sure, no doubt, you were spending good time with him, but I know what you mean, because when you've got someone else there who can pick up the time with your child, you kind of take advantage of that when you can. But when it's just you, then it's just you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He's settled in really well. And I mean, I take him to the gym. We both do. He plays. He loves watching craft videos on YouTube. For a 4-year-old, it's interesting, but whatever. And my only 40 minutes at the gym, so we take him with us, on our separate sessions. But and he sits there for half an hour and yells at me that he's hungry and wants a snack every now and then, and I throw cheese at him, and it's all
good. That's good. That's good. And that's good. And it's good for him also to see what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it's amazing for kids to see what their parents do, and push yourself physically and mentally. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally for myself, I always hoped it would rub off on my kids, but never did. So there you go.
It hasn't yet, easy, because I only started. I'm 34 this year. I've started running 7 years ago. So
yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
20. So it's never too late. You can't say never say.
Yeah, I live in hope, but so how did you cope with the 1 hour restrictions?
Well, I just said to myself, Caroline, you're not training for anything. At the end of the day, we don't have any races to train for. So for me, the time during COVID was about being consistent. So I trained 6 days a week. I moved 6 days a week, and it was running, and it was the gym, and that was it. And I think I'm really proud that I was able to stay consistent for the whole year, and that's all that matters. And it was the great thing with the gym, they kept you accountable. We had this little app where you could record all your training sessions, and it was motivating to see by the end of before the gyms reopened last November. So from the start of seconds isolation to like November, I had done 100 workouts. And for me, that was just, motivating in itself. And yeah, just consistency. I mean, consistency is key so much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so yeah, like the 1 hour, well, I'll be honest, like a lot of people, I think there was 10 minutes here and 15 minutes there.
Of course. Yeah.
But for the main part, it was what it was. That's what we're allowed to do. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. So did you do any virtual races?
No. Yes. No. But I did the bushfire one. That Sam Gash put together. That was really early year. So I did that one. And then we, because I do track sessions with Kevin Mannix from Run Body and Soul, and he put on his own virtual half marathon and marathon distance. I think there was a 10K and a 5K as well. So that was later on in the year. And look, by that point I was done, and I had nothing. Like I just half marathon, but no, I didn't really partake in the virtual races.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't either. I didn't personally find them motivating for me. So yeah.
No, I don't do loops. Just like track as many loops as I like to do.
Yeah.
No. And I live in a unit now. Even at my old house, like there's no way I was.
I know. I mean, I'm in a little apartment, and people are going, "Oh, just run around your yard." Yeah, what yard?
I mean, that's in no way saying that it just wasn't for me. But kudos to the people that was their thing. I mean, my thing was to go into my garage and pump some iron, and others it was keeping their ultra distances up. So good on them. Whatever.
Look, I saw some amazing feats by people, but I personally couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. So 2 bays, let's get back to that. So when did you start training specifically for 2 bays?
So I got a free entry as per the
from winning it.
For winning it, you get I got an email, and when I got the email, I was like, I'll do the 28. That in my head, I wanted to do the 28. I was like, you have when you have such an amazing race and you win it.
Yeah.
I'm always so conscious about going back and giving it another shot, because you will never be able to replicate that performance, or even that experience. It's not about so much about performance, but that experience. And so then I was like, maybe I'll just do it with a group of friends and have a bit of fun. Now, that's all very nice and humble of me, but I'm too competitive for that.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't turn up to a race and not get white light fever. So looking back, I really wish this year I took the year to just go, you know what, I'm going to run with a bunch of friends and just enjoy the day. That would have been the year to do it for me. But I still would have struggled, but
hey, you came second. That's good.
I'm not dissing my performance at all. I'm really proud of a result itself. But it's not, and I'm sure you can relate to this. It wasn't an enjoyable day, and that's all. In my head, I'm not talking about time. I'm not worried about. It wasn't an enjoyable run, and we've all had shit races. I mean, that's the reality of long distance running. We've all had them, but in my head, because I was so fit, I was like, I'm going to be able to have a cracker day again. So last year in November, same thing as the previous one. Last year in November, Simon, Beck, and I decided to do a little stint on the Wilson's Prom and do a 60K course for fun. And I was like, all right, if I have a good day out, like if my body feels good, then I'll keep on the 56. And I did the day. I mean, we took it super easy. I think we did it in 9 hours. So it was picnic on the trails.
That's nice.
9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, loved it. And easy for me, and also for I can speak for Simon and Beck. We've just realized that we really love those weekends where we just take the time to go away and run. Yes. And the race doesn't matter so much anymore. To be honest, like, to me, it doesn't. I'd rather have some time with my friends and doing an epic adventure than want a bib, I find.
Yes, I'm getting a bit more like that too. Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, and yeah, so 2 base came around. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm fit, and then I had 3 weeks off at Christmas, and so did Brad, and so we decided to take Gabs out of childcare again for that quality time, and he spent a week with him, a full week, and then I spent a full week with him, or vice versa. And so for that week off, I went up to Mount Hotham and just ran up there. So yeah, so came January, I kept my training runs at sort of that 30, 40 Ks, the long ones. I only did it 4 maybe at the most. So that's how I thought when I stepped on that start line in January, I felt really good. Like physically, I felt really good.
So you were going there planning to try to win?
No, I was going there to try and beat my time.
Yeah.
I didn't look at who was running until the week before, just out of interest. So Amelia Griffith was running, and I didn't really know anyone else. I'm not actively involved on Facebook and all that, so I don't know who's who. And and I'm really shocking with names, so I know faces. And I knew Deegan. Like, I knew her face once I saw her, but like her name on the list didn't mean anything to me at the time. And then I hadn't seen her winning Wilson's Prom or anything like that, so I hadn't. It wasn't so much about winning for me, because I felt fit. I was like, you know what, that 5:15, I can better that. I reckon I can get really close to 5 hours. Yeah. And Simon Neal was keen to do that as well, so we said, oh well, let's stick together and let's have a crack at it.
So what time did you end up doing?
5:19.
Okay.
Yeah, so far off. Look,
it's okay.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Yeah.
Well, I'm not one to dwell on those things.
Good.
I had a good go up until I got to the Seawing Gardens on the way to Dramana.
Yeah.
And then that's when things started like just not going well for me in my head. So yeah.
So when you first started, in your head, you sort of felt like you were okay?
100%. I felt, look, I had been going through a few things the weeks before, like I see a therapist, and been doing some exercise and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think it's so, you never know what to expect. You never know what's going to hit you on that day. You know what I mean? Like, and suddenly, the voices in your head started. It's like, oh my God, where did this come from?
I know. Yeah. Yes, I know. And it can be like that. And so it hit. Did you have, because I used to find I would wear headphones so I could listen to music so I didn't have to hear my own head. Did you have anything like that?
No, I was running with Simon, and it's just anytime, for me, anytime there was any sort of effort required. So even like Verdam was fine, because Verdam is fine because it's that 2K hill and you just go, right, I need to get to the top, and that's where your head is at. So up until then I was fine. And it was just that little undulating bit. Suddenly it felt like I had to climb a mountain. And when that started, I had like this knot in my stomach that kept me from breathing properly. And so I had to hike something that last year I ran so comfortably. Yeah. And that's how it all began to unravel for me. And so on the way back, anything like that, I was blocking every single time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's amazing then that you were able to push through that.
Oh, yeah. And look, I'm pretty stubborn. I'd have to have a bird sticking out to to stop a race. Look, I thought about stopping. I made it halfway, and then you get that hype halfway. You ring the bell. I got a super duper, and I didn't. They were handing to me, and Rowan was hanging shit on me because I wanted the purple one and not the Coca-Cola. And he told me at the end that cost me my first place, apparently. It was. I turned around and I felt okay. Do you know what? I ran back up Arthur Seat a lot better than I did last year, so I had hope.
Good.
And on the way, when I crossed Tegan on the way up, on the way back up, and she was coming down. She's like, "Oh, I'm coming for you," and I knew she was looking good. So that was a bit of fun. I was waiting for her to catch me. And look, she was within reach for quite a while coming back. And I said to Simon, I don't want to go for it for quite some time. Last year, something similar happened, and I caught Elizabeth just with 14Ks to go. At the end of Islop, that climb. So that's kind of in my head. That's where I was at. I was waiting for her maybe to slow down, or so she was within 30 seconds of me that whole time, and I was quite happy just sitting behind that. And then when I decided, all right, let's go for it. It was too early, but it would have made a difference. I don't think I would have been able to keep it up regardless of that. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was just it was she, at the end of the day, better runner of the day. She ran really well, and that's all there is to it. And for me, I just had a bad day, and it happens to the best of us. So
and this is the thing with ultra running, because we can't race too often because there's such long distances. You can't always have the best day of your life on race day. Sometimes it's not.
And look, to be honest with you, Isabel, I've been really lucky. I haven't had a bad day for a long time on a race day. I've had good race days for long, quite a few years now. I can't little races here and there weren't ideal, but for the most part, when I did Buffalo Stampede 75, I had a great race day. When I did Tower 100, I had a great day as well. And so all these days, it was bound to happen that at some point one of my races wasn't going to go to plan. And I know it's so cliche, but they're the days that you then go back on when you're racing again, and you go, you know what? At least I'm not feeling as bad as I did on that day.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, you just dig on that to get you through the next one. So I'm taking it in, and I'm taking it as a sign that I need to slow down and be kinder to myself.
Yeah.
And because we're all quite hard on ourselves sometimes, and I'm just taking a step back and going, you know what, Caroline, you don't need to do that distance right now. So I'm capping it at about 25-30 Ks at the moment as to what I'm doing. So
yeah. I mean, I think A, it's obviously a great idea for you at the moment, but B, there's nothing wrong with sort of coming back and doing shorter stuff and getting the speed. I mean, you're fast anyway, but focusing more on speed and all that sort of stuff anyway. So that's only going to pay dividends.
Yeah, at the moment of doing I haven't signed up for it because I'm still kind of just playing around, so it's not locked in yet. But there's this event called Bobo Extreme.
An adventure race.
Adventure race. So when I was up in Mount Hotham, staying with a mate, he had his friends that were planning on doing it, and they had all the maps and the paper on the table. And us, we see elevation. We're like, oh, what's this? And so I had a quick look, and I'd been looking for something like that, but I hadn't researched it. So I was like, yeah, I'd like to do that, but I hadn't looked into it at all. And then so this kind of just a sign from the universe, just fell into me, and it's really manageable distances. It's Bobo, so it's local to us. Yeah. And I just need to learn how to mountain bike and kayak. That's all.
Oh, nothing then, really. Do you have a bike?
Yeah, so I bought a bike about 6 weeks ago, and it's impossible to find mountain bikes because
I know. So I've heard.
So I had a look around, and then luckily one popped up on Gumtree. And I went straight for the dual suspension. I was going for hard. I want dual. No. I got that, and I've ridden it twice now at Listerfield, so I'm really, really proud of myself. I've actually been waiting to run into you at Listerfield while I'm riding my bike.
Well, I'm actually getting my bike fixed at the moment, so because I want to start doing a bit more riding again. I think it's good to incorporate. It really is.
Oh, my legs are burning. And I mean, I'm fatigued as it is because I do a heavy load of lifting, which I'm also going back on a little bit. I've just, I've spoken to some friends, and I'm like, I need to take a step back. So I'm not going to go as heavy. I get so excited. I just see weight, and I'm like, yeah, more. So yeah, this year I'm just trying to take a step back and just, I'm still lifting heavy, but just not pushing my body as much, and just trying to be kinder on myself. And so, yeah, I jump on the bike, and the minute you hit yeah, anything, it hurts, it burns. But I do love the heels, and the two guys I'm riding with, they're not so fond of the heels, but I've got the quads for it. Yeah, it's quite funny. So really, I'm shit scared on the descent, and every time there's a hill, I just go off. And then we were doing the Granite Peak Trail on Saturday, and there's that big boulder as you go down.
That's right.
And I blocked. I got so scared, so I jumped off my bike and ran down.
Oh no.
I was mountain biking, so that's what I need to work on.
Yeah, but that'll come with time. That's just.
But
yeah.
More extreme, the 25Ks has 1,500 meters of ascent, which is quite decent for 25 kilometers.
25 meters of ascent, 1,500 meters of ascent over 25. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And is that the run or the bike?
That's the run.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. When I looked at the elevation, it's a 10K climb. So you start in Walhalla.
Wow.
Run 5Ks down to the river. And then you take your kayak and you go down the river for 14 Ks, and then you get the mountain bike 40 Ks. And there's a couple of climbs, but not that much elevation gain. But then you have to climb back to the resort running, and that's a 10K climb with 1,500 meters of ascent, which
when you've been on the bike, that's even more painful.
Yeah, and if you look at Tuves, there's what, like 1,000 meters over 56 Ks. So that's it's going to be interesting. So
wow, and that sounds like a good one. Have you done any kayaking yet?
No.
Because I've done some adventure racing, and I tell you what, but you do weights, so you should be okay. It is really hard on the upper body, obviously.
I went stand-up paddling during summer. That counts, right? That's using a paddle, same thing.
Yeah, kind of. I think that's more balance.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'll get it out. I'll go and hire one and do a few things. I want to do the Running Wild Bobo on the 27th of Feb, I think.
Yes. That's only a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, so the plan is to do it on the 21Ks. I think that's a good distance. I don't need to go any more than that. And then I'll see if I can actually hire a kayak that afternoon and go check out the Thompson River. So that in my head, that's kind idea. So because I've got till the price goes up on the 1st of April, and we're selling the house as well. So there's just so much going on right now that I don't want to commit to anything.
No. And like you said, being kind to yourself, because these emotional times are really stressful, and a lot of people think, well, you can compartmentalize and that sort of stuff. But for myself, when I was going through my separation and divorce, I just couldn't really focus on the running the same because of my head. I just couldn't. So I think you need to realize that you can't, that if you're selling the house and all that, it is going to impact your running either way.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about mountain biking, because it requires so much of my concentration.
Yeah.
I don't have time to think, because I'm really in the moment of going, okay, I need to try and not break any bones or anything like that. So look, I'm enjoying the process, and the house, we're getting that ready, and then we're doing work on it, painting and all of that stuff, and auction is on the 27th of March. So it's all full on. So I think it's good, because if everything goes well up to there, then by the 1st of April, I'll be like, yep, I'm committing to this race, or no, I'm not ready.
So what date is the race?
17th of April.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it does mean there's Easter weekend in there to train really hard, and then it's good.
Yes, just cram that last weekend, that second last weekend. Yeah. Sounds like an awesome plan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll actually probably end up doing really well at that, because you are so strong. Doing that run after all that work, I think you'll find you'll actually probably excel.
I reckon I'll be warmed up by then.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Takes me about that long to warm up too.
I'm excited to try something different, just to live the adventure life.
Yeah. So if you end up doing that, what would be next, like later in the year?
Look, I'd like to do Wonderland. I'd really like to go check out the Grampians, and because I think we've done a bit of work on the trails over there.
Yes.
But I'd love to check that out.
So you haven't run at the Grampians before?
I did the 36 6 years ago in 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking of this year being the year of a marathon as well.
Because if you've done an under 90-minute half, no, because I did the year I did my sub 3-hour marathon, I did a sub 90-minute half.
Yeah. So in my head, I this year, if I go for that, I want to do 3 marathons. And they don't need to be advanced. I'll sort something out. So I want to start with aiming for like sort of that 3:15, and then get close to that 3, and then of course go for that sub 3. So
you got to go for it.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting to see. Look, I started a new job in December as well. So
wow, this has been so much change for you.
Oh, look, same company, just another. I took on another role. It's full on, So you've got to respect that process. So I'm taking it. I'll see what happens in April, and then I'll see if I can do that adventure race, and then I'll see where I'm at and what I want to focus the rest of the year on. I think I told you last time, I like to work on my running in financial years. So
that's right. I remember now.
So I'll see what the second half of a financial year has in store for me.
Yeah. And you know what? Also, I think sometimes it's good not to plan too far ahead, and you can afford to do that when you're doing slightly shorter races.
Well, and this year, like in this climate, how do you plan ahead anymore? No one is. No one is really signing up for races in advance. Everyone's kind of waiting and seeing what's happening. And because what are you working on? You've got a little something up your sleeve.
Well, yeah, because obviously I can't get to Barkley, and once again, I'm hesitant about entering in the first half of the year, even entering anything interstate, because chances are the border will get shut. So that's why I'm doing, I've created my own FKT within Victoria, because, unless they lock us back into the city, I should be able to move around Victoria. So, yeah.
Oh, I look forward to seeing what that's all about.
Yeah. So that'll be the last weekend in April.
Oh, perfect. Good stuff.
Yeah. So, and then obviously I'm hoping to get to the States in September for a race, but I don't know, probably not, but fingers and toes crossed.
If you need paces or company or anything like that, I'm always up for that stuff.
Yeah, I know. Look, and wouldn't it be awesome to be able to travel again, So we'll just have to see. But yes, it's everyone was like, 2021, everything's going to be great again. But I think it still has a lot of uncertainty.
No, I think that's just sweeping it under the rug and going, yep, new year, new things, it's all good. It's not like that. It's not like that.
Sadly.
So, there's plenty to see in Victoria. So I think people are discovering what's in their own backyard, and it's not necessarily a bad thing.
And I mean, and then once things are a little bit more settled within Australia, there's still a lot in many of the other states, that I'm sure, like myself, you probably haven't done a lot around Australia either.
Not as much as there is to offer, that's for sure. And I've got unfinished business with 6 Foot Track. So if I go for the, this is when the head starts going, if I go for a marathon this year, then I'm in perfect, condition to enter the 6 Foot Track lottery in November, and then continue that training and take it to March next year. So yeah, look, I'm very much focused on Australia right now. Look, Simon, Neil, Beck and I have got like this Simon really wants to do this run in New Zealand.
Which one's that?
Well, it's self-organized, so the 10 trails or something like this. He's been sending us all these like amazing trails, like the Abel Tasman and stuff like that. And so we're playing around, playing with the idea of doing that and just doing a trip, just I think it's the 3 of us, and doing a multi-day adventure. So
see, that would be brilliant. And New Zealand is so beautiful, so have you spent much time over there at all?
I did. So I went traveling on the South Island with my parents when I was younger, in my 20s, and I did Tarawera 100 in Rotorua in 2015. Look, we've got so much around us. Like, I mean, for yourself, I think you've done a few more races than I have, but for me, I'm quite happy running in my own backyard. Like, I don't need to. Simon got into UTMB, and I'll give myself a pat on the shoulder. I don't know if you know, but my track record for pacing is really good, because last time I paced Beth, the first and only time I paced, she won the race.
Oh, so awesome.
I'm in high demand for pacing. And
well, I do need some pacing for my FKT, so I might be.
And I've got great stories to tell as well, really interesting. So he got into UTMB this year, but he's hoping to put it over to next year.
Yeah.
And so, well, I'm French.
But I'm pretty sure there's no pacing allowed at UTMB.
Isn't there? I thought there was.
The Euros don't do pacing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You'll have to just be crew.
Oh, okay. Yeah, crew. All right. Yeah. No, that's good.
That's equally important. Yeah.
And in the Alps, anytime.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so beautiful there. Yeah.
You been there?
I did CCC.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah. Look, that event, any distance. I'm not quite picky, but I'd love to experience it one year.
And admittedly, I did it about 5 months after I separated from my husband, so it was a shit race. It was terrible, and I wanted to pull out the whole way, and I was miserable and horrible, but I'm glad I did it all the same.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay,
so we do these things, don't we?
Oh fuck, sorry.
No, that's okay.
We suddenly put ourselves through some situation, and I don't know. There's never any regrets, though. I mean, you turn around and you know what? Good on me for just.
And I think I know that it's a cliche. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But seriously, it makes you stronger. These tough times, although they're horrible, they do make you stronger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's part of the journey living as well.
Yeah.
Living, and I think for me, and I'm guessing maybe for you as well, at the end of the day, I do these things because I've got this like deep desire to see how far I can push myself, right? Yeah. And admittedly, up until now, I had never ever experienced mental health issues. Like looking back, I very much pushed everything down and aside and ignored it all, but I never struggled with any of that. So last year has given me an understanding of what other people go through. Yeah. And look, I'm grateful for that, because it makes me more able to relate to some of my friends that do struggle with that on a daily basis, without even having life events that have triggered those things for me. Some people really struggle on a day-to-day, and so having that sort of getting a bit of a taste for it gives you a better understanding of the world around you. So as I said, just
and I think it's hard to get through life without some difficult times at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And no one does. No one does.
No, we don't get out of this unscathed. So do you have like any tips for people on how to get through difficult times, like using exercise and those sorts of things? Do you have any sort of?
Look, absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of studies that show it, but the endorphins that you get, and I remember when I was younger, I did Michelle Bridges, and her thing was like, you will never regret doing an exercise session. Like, you'll never regret it, even if you drag your feet to start it. She said, I dare you to start your session and stop and turn back and stop doing it. And you simply won't, because the moment you get into it, and so my tip is just, and a lot of people say it, you get out of your comfort zone and just push yourself that little bit to take those, those first steps to walk into that gym and just do it. Just give yourself just a little bit of tough love.
Yeah.
And exercise. Talk to people. Like up until, a lot of people, I think, tend to think, oh, this is my problem to deal with, and they don't necessarily share. And I think once you open up to others and share your experiences and what you're going through, you actually find that you're not alone. And I think for me, that feeling of not being alone in what I'm going through was really helpful. So opening up to others and seeking help. Like there's absolutely no shame in seeing a therapist or anything like that. So yeah, just was three things. Like keep active, because if you're kind to your body and that will help your mind. Talk to people and yeah, seek help if you really need to. That's really important, I think.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant advice. And like you said, there is absolutely no shame in seeking help, because you got to look after yourself.
And I never considered seeing a therapist ever in my life up until all this stuff started unraveling, and it took a few goes, just like making friends.
Yes.
The first one wasn't quite right, and then the second one was spot on, and it was actually through talking to someone else who recommended that person that I found her. So that's
the thing. You've got to find the one that fits right. Some people say, oh, it didn't work for me, but sometimes you've just got to keep looking and finding someone who really fits you.
Well, it's just like every relationship, right? I mean, some are better than others, and you can't expect to just go to some random person and open up about your darkest, deepest fears, and for them to be the right person to do that to. So it's good.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I really and I'm sure the listeners do too, appreciate you being so open about all of this, because I do believe that a lot of people, like everyone is going through things, and but a lot of people, hide it and don't talk to people. And I think it's really important that we can see others being open, which encourages ourselves to be open.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, so
I was quite surprised that once I started opening up about my turmoil, that I found that others, were going through similar situations or just similar feelings in general, and we help each other. And I mean, I'm sure you do that. Like, we call it therapy.
That's it.
Long run Sundays, it all comes out, and it's free. It is free therapy.
That's right.
I feel so much better after just getting it all out. And, the only people listening are the people you choose to surround yourself with, and then the trees around you. So it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it is great. And I'm sure your friends say the same, because they probably get to share with you. It's not just a one-way street. I'm sure it goes both ways.
And and as I said, like, you open up about something and then that person goes, oh, well, hold on a minute. And even if it's not the first time you mention it, they come back a few weeks later and they go, hold on, you said this last time, and I've actually recognized that's what's going on with me, or that's, those feelings are relatable and things like that. And both ways, like, absolutely both ways for me as well. I just speak to someone and they say something, and then, I mull on it for a few weeks or something, and then it clicks. So it's good.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, that's great. And like I said, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. We really appreciate it. And anyway, I'd love to follow up if you get to do this adventure race.
Oh, absolutely. All right, look, I'm super, super keen.
Yeah.
Just tee it up, like, see what happens. And
Well, and we'll have to go out for a mountain bike ride once I get my bike back. We'll have to go out for a mountain bike ride.
Yeah, we can run down the hills together.
No, we'll ride.
But I just get so scared, because it's funny, because I love downhill running.
Yeah.
But I'm so scared on the bike. I think
and can I tell you, downhill mountain biking will improve your downhill running even more.
Oh, well, for sure. Just the speed. I was just like, oh my God. Do I brake? Do I not brake? No, I'm not supposed to brake. The whole point of going downhill is to go fast.
You can dab a little.
I'll let you know. And I look forward to adventure as well. I'm just really keen to see what you get up to.
Well, don't worry. I'll be calling on you for some pacing.
Cool.
Excellent.
If I have a broken anything on the 17th.
Yeah, you might be. Well, it won't matter because if you're a bit tired, it's not the 17th, it's a weekend after. So if you're a bit tired, that's probably just as well because I don't think it'll be a heck of a lot of fast running.
It's all good.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And once again, I appreciate your openness and your sharing with everybody.
Thanks for having me, Izzy. It was lovely to catch up again.
No worries. Thanks. Bye.